Welcome boys and girls in grade 7 in Umariya School. This is teacher Manal with you. Our lesson, making an electromagnet. Our outcomes, define electromagnet. Second, differentiate between electromagnet and permanent magnet. Making an electromagnet. I need for this experiment a coil of wire, battery or power supply. And we have to make the wire like this shape. We call this a coil. Okay, this spiral shape, we call it a coil. Coil of wire. We can use a screw or a nail, or we can only use the coil itself. It's enough. And we have to connect the wires with the battery, the positive and negative sides, like this. When we connect the electricity and electricity pass through this wire, it will become a magnet. This magnet, the wire itself, is called electromagnet. Now it can attract the paper clips to it. So what do we mean by electromagnet? It is a coil of wire with an electric current in it. It behaves like a bar magnet. So it's a coil of wire with an electric current in it. It behaves like a bar magnet, but it is not permanent, of course. So the difference between electromagnet and permanent magnet is the following. We should have an electromagnet, a coil of wire, and this wire connected to a battery. That's simple. When we do that, this coil will become a magnet. It will do the same function as a magnet. It will attract all the paper clips and the pens or the steel, iron, cobalt, nickel, everything that is magnetic materials. So the electromagnet here is depending on the battery or on electricity. If there is electricity, there is magnet force or a magnet field around this magnet. What about permanent magnet? Permanent magnet, it lasts for a long time, not like the electromagnet. So it will last for a long time, and we have a magnetic field around, and it's not depending on electricity at all. It can create its own field. Let's answer this question in our course book, page 168, question 1. State the differences between an electromagnet and a permanent magnet. So what about electromagnet? Choose any 2 points between electromagnet and permanent magnet and write them on your course book. Electromagnet, the magnetic properties are displayed when current is passed through it. So only when there is a current in the wires, there is a magnet properties or magnetic properties. What about permanent magnet? Here the magnetic properties exist when the material is magnetized, and that will happen when it is made from the first instant. Now electromagnet, again, the strength is adjusted depending upon the amount of flow of current. So if we increase the current, we will increase the strength of the magnetic in electromagnet. Now the strength of permanent magnets, the strength here depends upon the nature of the material used in its creation. So if it was made of neodymium, for example, it is a metal, so it will be the strongest. Another point here, removal of magnetic properties is temporary. So we can stop making it a magnet at any time, and we can get the magnetic property again at any time. But in permanent magnet, once magnetic properties is lost, it becomes useless. So it will not become a magnet again. But electromagnet can become a magnet again. Question 2 now. Describe how an electromagnet can be switched on and off. Look at this circuit here. When it is on and off, look what will happen. When it is on, all the paper clips will be attracted to the nail. When it is off, all the paper clips will get down. So our answer will be like the following. Switch the electric current on and off, or connect or disconnect the battery or power supply. That's how we can switch it on and off. We can then switch, as we said, the electric current on and off, or connect and disconnect the battery or power supply. We can just disconnect it from the battery itself. In this way, we can control the current. So we can just make this coil magnet again. When we make the switch on, it will be a magnet, and we can make the wire normal wire without any magnetic properties when we switch it off. Now this is interesting. How can we benefit from the electromagnet? We can do it by using electromagnet crane. So it is a very simple device. You can do it at home. You can just put a battery, a wire around this ruler, and then you can make a coil of the wire around the pencil, for example, or around a nail. Then fix it with the ruler. And when you connect the wires with the battery, you will directly notice that it can attract all the paper clips. So why do they use it? They use it actually in a scrapyard, where the heavy metal objects are moved around using a crane. One of the ends of the crane is an electromagnet instead of a hook, so it can lift scrap cars and put them in another place when they switch off the batteries, for example. Or they can just separate things made of iron from the plastic materials. Now highlight this page, please, page 168. You have to remember what is electromagnet and all the components of the circuits that we can use it to make the electromagnet. We already answered question number 1 and question number 2. This is everything for today, and this is your homework worksheet about magnetism. Enjoy your day.